Welcome to another episode of the Bald Avenger Show, episode number 120. Cannot believe we made 120 of these, but we have. And I am Jason Cisneros, also known as the Bald Avenger, the purveyor of all things common sense, the king of the Misfit Nation, and a legend, baby, the tattooed guru, right? And the legend in my own mind. See, the last couple of nights of M's done the intro, so I kind of got a little bit rusty on that. But welcome to another show, y'all. What we're going to do is we're going to get right into it tonight. What we're going to talk about is the doomsdayers out there, and I want to set the table for what the next week is going to look like. Okay, based on what happened today, we're going to talk about the health perspective versus the economic perspective. And the next 7 days is going to be building on this. Again, not from a fear-based perspective or me trying to be a doctor or me try, like none of that stuff. Essentially, this show is meant to resource you to be able to apply common sense, practical, strategic solutions that you can actually do with your life as we're going through. Again, yes, it's a pandemic. Yes, it's serious. Yes, all of those things. But as we go through it, it's just like any other thing that you go through, any other upheaval in your life, which most of the time you go through together. We just happen to be going through it together as the human. It's a human condition right now. It's a worldwide sort of experience that we're all kind of in it together, which is interesting. Can make things better and it can make things worse depending on how you approach it. But so I want to talk a little bit about tonight to set the table, because again, I've taken a lot of heat online. I've had some very heated conversations offline because of the strategy and the approach that people are taking to what we're all going through. And as you know, for me, it's what can I do, right? One of the things that I've been doing all day today was I was with one of the brightest, longest standing doctors that has been trusted in three-letter agencies, worked on presidents, worked on some of the most powerful people that you'll ever meet, all the way down to, to the you and I's of the world, right? And so, and one of the things that he specializes in is analyzing live blood, okay? And so I spent all day, hi Sandy, hi Rayanne, good to see you guys as you come in. And at the end of the day, what I had him analyzing my blood, and then we just spent the entire day, because one of the things that I've been doing, those of you that know me and know what I do, we're spinning up a new supplement line. It's all going to be about building your immune system and optimizing your performance, which is some of the things that I've been doing already. You saw the show that I did with Paul. Some of the things that I'm involved in. And at the end of the day, it's all about optimizing this bag of skin and bones that I am carrying around with me. And you should be doing the same thing. And so today was a full day with this new product that we're going to be coming out with. We mentioned it in the show back. You can go back to that show and watch it. It was with Paul Isom, and we brought Liliana in for the DNA vitamins that I take that are specifically targeted towards my DNA. We talked about the silver and gold, why it works, why it doesn't, all of those things. But ultimately, it's about optimizing your immune system, because regardless of whether there's a virus going around the world right now, at the end of the day, you should be concerned about optimizing your immune system at all times. Because if you're not, then we have things that can attack us when we are in a weakened condition, right? I wrote down a term today that, talking to Dr. D, was that a lot of times that what we do is we mute our immune system by the choices that we make. Okay. So, and that's all we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the choices that we make and how we can optimize our own position to be able to come against whatever stresses, whatever challenges that we may be going through, including this virus, including the financial perspective of this from a I don't have an agenda. This is simply to serve you and to serve my community. And I've been battling with some of my closest friends. I've been battling back and forth about the idea that I get angry, right? It's like this bullying syndrome. It's like because somebody has some sort of perspective or they have some sort of platform that they've built up, that they've like taken a little wand and ding, and they put it on themselves and they said, now it's my job to be able to point out all of the horrifying things in the world, from the virus to the economy, all the way across the board. And they just start to repeat things that you can read anywhere on any website, right? And so this information that I'm going to give you tonight was after spending the last couple of days basically every day on the phone, because I wanted to test just this one product, right? And I've learned so much about our current situation by this one product that we built out. It's called, by the way, the new company is called OG Supplements. We're going to have a website up ready to go tomorrow. And tomorrow, I hope it's going to be live. But we've got a brand new product called Tommy Gun, okay? Because it's OG, those of you that don't know, is Original Gangster. And, we were throwing around all kinds of pretty names. And I'm like, look, if we're going to build a supplement line, it's going to be unique and different, just like I am. And all of my greatest heroes when I was growing up were gangsters, not for lots of different reasons. You guys know the way that I grew up, that I was, my adopted father was, in that world. And those were the things that I learned. And I learned that there was honor amongst thieves. I learned that there was honor amongst gangsters. There's just a different way of approaching the world for the underprivileged or the non-privileged. Okay. And that's essentially what it is. If you think about Misfit Nation, all we are is we're just a gang of people that got together around an idea of serving, instead of adding suffering, to easing suffering and really taking our gang of misfits and coming together to serve the world. And so anyway, so this Original Gangster, this Tommy Gun, the silver and the gold mixture that we put together, I dove into it, and I've been dealing with two people. Paul Isom, who is a genius, and on the other side, Dr. D, who's been the doctor that has, again, 40 years front line against biological, chemical warfare, worked on multiple presidents and, lots of different people, by analyzing what's going on in the blood right now and being able to identify what are those things, from viruses to bacteria to parasites and those kind of things that show up in the blood. So this has been my world for like the last week, because I don't want to put a product out into the world that is not going to help boost our immune system. There's so much snake oil. I learned the difference. Those of you that are paying attention to this, I want you to do some research on your own, okay? Independent websites, because when you get into the world of like silver and gold and different, different supplements in general, forget the silver and the gold, but what'll happen is you have pharmaceutical companies that don't want you to heal naturally. They don't want you. It's a big thing in the cannabis space and the CBD space right now, where there's all kinds of misinformation that's being put out because nobody wants you to be able to heal yourself without having to get a prescription. Okay? Period, end of sentence. I'm not going to go too much deeper into it because I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do know that people make money from disinformation campaigns. Okay, it's a way to build power. It's a way to build following. It's a way to build dependency. Right? If you have to depend on somebody, like our current supply chain, and we depend on China for most of our medicines. It's not a good thing to have to depend on other people, which is why homeopathic and nutraceuticals and what you do with your diet and with what you do with your workouts and all of this stuff for years and years and years before doctors and the advancement. I'm not saying there's not a place for doctors. There's a great place. There's been wonderful advancements in medicine. but they should work in concert with each other, right? They should work. You should have the best of New Age medicine, and you should have the best of ancient medicine put together. And so as I dove into this, I've learned a lot about this idea of boosting our immune system and what we can do and the damage that it does to ourselves. Now, let's go back to what I've been so angry about, not angry, but what I've been upset about, what I've been battling with people who are close to me. I've been saying, stop scaring people. This is it. Like, that's the core of my message has been, stop scaring people, because if you're a doctor or an economist or a business guru or your son, and all you're doing is laying out there the worst of the worst of the scenarios that people have to look at, you're doing actual more damage than any virus or any economic collapse can possibly do. And so today, again, all day with Dr. D, looking at my blood and live blood and all the stuff, right? I asked him a question. I said, and I said specifically, I want to look at somebody, because again, part of the things that we know, right? Just about any virus in general, but this one that we seem to be facing right now, that if you have an underlying cardiovascular issue, then the death rate jumps to 10.5%, diabetes 7.3, chronic respiratory 6.3, hypertension 6%, which hypertension is largely controlled or controllable, right, by choices. Cancer a 5.6%, no pre-existing, it drops to 0.9%. So how do we, the question should be, how do we get ourselves into a place where we have no pre-existing conditions? It's like taking care of our heart, right? Now, if you start stacking those on top of each other, you have cardiovascular and diabetes. You have cardiovascular and chronic respiratory. You start stacking those things, you can see where the death rate goes through the roof, which is why immune issues and the elderly are at most at risk for this, just like they are for pretty much any invasive viral, bacterial, or parasitic attack on their system, because it's already in a weakened state. So I want to focus in on a couple of things. Cardiovascular, diabetes, all of these things start with, or not start with, but are improved by us. And this is under live blood, right? I've seen it. I've watched it. I've been really heavy and watching it like day in and day out for a while now, but specifically heavily because we're getting ready to launch this new product. And so when I look at that, one of the things that I was having this conversation with, I said, okay, Doc, here's the thing that I've been telling people is just please stop scaring people, right? Please stop scaring people. That's why I'm getting attacked, is because people think because I'm happy, because I'm smiling, because I joke, because I do the things that I do, because I'm being the person that I am, that at the end of the day, I'm not taking it seriously. Taking it seriously to me does not mean stressing yourself out over a problem you can't solve. At the end of the day, nobody can control whether the breath that they take in is going to have this disease that we do not speak of, right? You don't have control. You don't know if somebody sneezes or you're just going through the thing and you touch something or whatever. Like, stressing out about that is doing undue damage to ourselves. Whatever's going to happen with the economy is going to happen. You don't have control over that. And so the main message that I've been driving home, that I keep getting hammered on, is the one thing that you can control is your attitude. Okay. You can control how much stress hormones, right? Let's just talk a little bit about adrenaline. Okay. Because that's the main thing, your fight or flight mode. And one of the things that I watched under a microscope with live blood that was just taken multiple times is that essentially stress, and this can't come straight out of Dr. D's mouth. He said, stress is nature's methamphetamine. Okay. That one statement, I mean, and you can go do your own research on what this is all about, but that one statement about stress being nature's methamphetamine, you can look around, you can see how many meth heads do you know that are healthy, right? It's constantly putting your body into that state. And then when you see it under a live blood cell, you see healthy blood, which mine is, pricked my blood. I saw him about, I don't know, 6 weeks ago or 7 weeks ago. And I had some issues because I was pushing really hard. I was pushing for unstoppable and I was pushing a lot of stuff. I wasn't eating the greatest. I hadn't exercised at a super high level. And so you could see it in my blood to where I was overdosing on adrenaline. And what that does is it puts epinephrines and neuro, I got to get this right. I'm not the doctor in the house, but okay. Epinephrines and norepinephrines into your bloodstream, which robs, it just floods into your bloodstream, and it causes your healthy red blood cells that should be plump with a line around them. They should be bouncing off of each other. They shouldn't be connected. And that allows your white blood cells to find anything new that hits your bloodstream and go in and eat it and take care of any sort of virus, right? Follow Wim Hof, his breathing. This guy had literal viruses, deadly viruses injected into him real time. And he was able to kill it by his ability to be able to focus the oxygen and making sure that his blood was in the right state. So the one thing that I want to drive through to everybody tonight is that if you're sitting around the house, number one, he said it lights your brain on fire and it freezes your body, okay? Which those two things in concert make it nature's methamphetamine. So it lights your brain on fire, and you see the blood cells are clumped together, so they're not getting from all around, right? If you think of a round circle, you're getting oxygen and nutrients, and that's the healthy part of the cell. And if you clump them together, now you have less surface and they start moving. It's really slow. Your energy drops. All that kind of stuff happens. And this is happening live blood cell. And I'm going to have this conversation with these type of doctors over the course of the next 7 days. And we're going to have talk about economics and business and all that kind of stuff. But what I want to tell you is this has been my message, is you've got a bunch of people running around out there on the internet that are supposed to be influencers, that are supposed to be leaders, that are supposed to care about their community, that are supposed to be giving you good information, and all they're doing is scaring the shit out of you, right? With my more good news, every single day, all I'm doing, I've set my reticular activating system to go find things that are going right. Okay. And not just about this thing. This thing's going to pass. It's going to get past us. We're going to recover. We're going to have, we're going to get to the other side of this. And I don't want to damage my health and or my ability to be able to create and to ease suffering in the world by doing things that I have control over. And that's what tonight's complete show is all about. You have control over what you think about. You have control how much adrenaline you're shooting into your blood system. No matter whether you have one slice of bread. I've been there. My family, this is the way that we were raised, right? I've been there in those scenarios where I'm just worried. And my mother, God love her, I love her to death. She's amazing, and she's much better in the last 9 or 10 years. But her and my brother perfected the art of worrying. And I've had to fight against that natural tendency of how I was raised to not worry about shit that I can't control. And that's all I want from this message. If that's all you take, figure out those things, even write it out on a list tonight, and just write down, here's the stuff that I can control. I can't control whether this thing comes in and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, what we're talking about here, why healthy people, no pre-existing conditions, why a healthy immune system, it basically makes a decision whether it's going to be upper respiratory and you're going to recover, or whether it drops into the lungs and you get sick. And you can impact and affect your health level and your ability for which direction any virus, okay? Any virus, any sickness is going to go by your decision to make sure that the environment that you are creating in your own body by your own decisions, by your breathing, by your drinking water, by your not stressing out, by your meditation, by the fact that you can find shit to laugh about, by the way that you set your reticular activating system to go find things that are going right and things that are joy-filled and happy and funny and love-inducing or empathy-inducing. You have control over that. And that's my message. That's been my message, that I'm fighting against all these people, telling them, stop going. If you're an influencer, right, and your name is not on the CDC, or your name is not out there, you're not in the Federal Reserve, and you don't have any control. You have zero control of what you're doing. And what you do have the control over as an influencer is to be able to take a full 1/3. This is a complete anecdotal comment that was made by one of the brightest doctors that I've ever met on the face of the planet. But a full 1/3 of your ability to be able to control your health and your ability to be able to fight back and your ability to think clearly is mental and emotional. Right? 1/3. The other 2/3 was diet and nutrition. That's another third. And the other one was exercise. So those three things, you can make solid decisions, right? Solid decisions for yourself to optimize your immune system. And when you do that, you give yourself a fighting chance. You give your body a fighting chance against the virus of negativity, the virus of doomsdayers that are out there that are trying to build their community and they're trying to build their name by scaring the shit out of people, because people trust them and they use that trust to manipulate people to be more scared. Because when you're afraid, you make bad decisions and attach yourself to people who seem to be in a position of authority that is beyond your. So that's the control you take. You attach yourself to people who have a legitimate agenda, right? To be able to manipulate you, to be able to control you and direct you to their product, their service, their this, their that, whatever it is. Look beyond the agendas and figure out that you have way more control over your ability to fight the virus of negativity, any virus that may come against you. You know, I was reading a bunch of stuff. I mean, I've got like 6 pages of notes that I've been taking on these subjects, because the next 7 days, I'm going to be having conversations with people who disagree with me vehemently. And I want to make sure that I've got my ducks in a row, and I want to make sure my facts are straight so that I can put forth the idea that our ability to be able to fight this is internal. It's not external. It doesn't matter who the president of the United States is. It doesn't matter who acted quickly or slowly. It doesn't matter whether we're going to have a V-shaped snapback economy or a long drawn-out recovery. It doesn't matter whether we're going to be at 10% unemployment or 50% unemployment. It doesn't matter whether there's this virus or another virus or the cancer or the heart disease that's killing everybody. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is you've got to take control of the circle that goes around you, period, end of sentence. That's what my conversations are about. You have more influence over your own health and economic conditions than anybody else on the face of the planet. Now, let's talk about that. This environment, right? A virus loves, and Danny T's on here, which is one of the smartest guys that I've ever met. He cured himself of a very bad disease, and he did it by doing these things that I'm talking about, right? He will vouch for the idea that yes, you got to take the right supplements. Yes, you got to eat right. Yes, you got to do these things. But if your mind ain't right, then the environment for which you're going to put that stuff in, when you've got clumped up red blood cells and it's not taking in nutrients and oxygen because you've flooded your body with adrenaline, then the stuff that you eat is going to pass right by it because it can't absorb it. That's the whole point of having a calm mindset, of keeping yourself in a place where your red blood cells are plump and they're bouncing off of each other with the right electrical charge so that they can take those nutrients and that oxygen and turn it into energy and to be able to have your white blood cells fighting against things that may be a foreign invader instead of you creating the internal invader yourself. Okay? He'll tell you that. So, The other thing is this, that what it does is it causes a low pH environment. Okay. A low pH environment is a breeding ground for viruses. If you have 7.2 or you bounce that up, anytime, it's hard for a virus to breed in a high pH, a higher pH, a normal pH or higher environment. It's harder for it to multiply. When you drop down into the 7.2, 7.1, whatever it is, it's easier. It's easier for a virus to be able to multiply. It's a better environment for them. And that is a choice by what you eat, how you think, right? And the things that you're doing for yourself. And those are personal choices. And so if you're watching television and you're watching the same repetitive shit go over, more people died, more people got it, and you're gonna lose your job, and you're gonna be poor, and you're all blah 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 blah. All that stuff stacks up, and you're taking that in instead of doing an inventory every single day to say, what are my assets? What do I have at my availability to be able to optimize my position in life? Because what's going on out there, you have no control over. Right? You're walking down the street and you're going to wash your hands every 5 seconds. You can't high five somebody, can't touch anything. You bump up against somebody sneezes 6 feet away from you. Now they're saying that it stays airborne. You don't have a choice but to live your life. Okay. And if you hole yourself up in a house and you don't move and you're watching stressful shit, you are creating the environment for, if you are exposed to that virus or any other thing, is that your body and your immune system is depressed in such a way that it can't fight for itself. It is a muted immune system. Okay. Now he called being happy, getting some sunshine, moving your body, making sure that you're drinking stuff, making sure that you're eating correctly. That's your body's natural antiviral state. Okay. No supplement is going to overcome the fact that you sit on your ass and you eat potato chips and you're watching MSNBC or Fox News. Okay. Nothing, there's no supplement in the world that's going to help you from that. You've got to choose to move. You've got to choose to get sunshine. You've got to choose to eat the right stuff. You got to choose to drink and hydrate yourself. You've got to choose to be happy. You've got to choose to figure out that to take control over your own happiness, over your own joy, over your own decision to say, you know what, whatever comes against me, baby, I got this. I've survived all of these things to be born in the first place, and I've survived all of the shit that I've gone through to be here, to be best prepared to be able to take this on. Okay. So that's on the health side. I'm just setting the stage again for those of you that join late. I'm setting the stage for the conversations that are going to be happening over the next 7 days. I'm going to go head to head with people that disagree with my approach, both on taking care of yourself, both on me not taking it seriously, whatever that means, and the economy. And I'm going to take on those conversations, and I'm studying with the brightest minds, the best information that I could possibly get my hands on, and looking to make the best argument that I can to push the responsibility back onto you who's listening to this, you who's watching this, you who are sitting in your chair looking for, what can I do? Okay. And that is all I've been doing, is saying, here's the stuff you can do. You can control your mindset. You can control the things that you put into your brain, how you think about things, the amount of oxygen you bring into your body, what you do when you're walking or getting sunshine and doing these things that are a natural antiviral in yourself by just doing those things that you have total control over. Now, on the financial side, on the business side, right? If you're a person who has a job and you've lost it, what can you do, right? Tony Robbins said a long time ago, he said, the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the quality of the question that you ask yourself. And that means, right? That means that you have to ask a better question. What can I control? Is a fantastic question. What can I make a decision about that will improve my position in life? If I've lost my job, that means that I feel out of control. Maybe that job won't be there when this thing is over and they open back up the country, whatever that may be. what can I do today? What can I control? Could I get online and sell half of my shit, right? If could I get a job? Could I join a multi-level marketing company? Could I find somebody else's product and offer it online to the people that do pay attention to me? The question is what am I going to do is not a good question, right? How am I going to fight back against this unseen thing? How am I going to feed my family? Like you got to ask a better question. And a high quality question is worth $8 million in your pocket. What do you have control over? What can you do right now that you have control over? If nothing else, here's what I would like for you to do as another prescription towards being able to improve your position, both health-wise and economically. What I'd like you to do is stop paying attention to anything that you don't have any control over, okay? We already know, wash our hands till the nth degree, put on some gloves if you want to, put on a mask, stay away from people. There's no other, they haven't changed the protocol since day one. They've added a couple of things, like maybe wear a mask when you're walking around, so in case it's airborne or whatever it is. But for the most part, the protocols haven't changed, and everything that's been over and above that is somebody with an agenda trying to manipulate you, whatever, to get likes, to sell you something, or whatever the case may be. And so my suggestion to you is to X out anything of your life, out of your life, that takes away, that you have no control over. You don't have control over when the country is going to open back up. You don't have any control over whether a floating particle may be a virus that gets in your nose, or you breathe it in your mouth, or whatever it is. You don't have any control over that. So except for the protocols that have been put in place. So why worry or why stress beyond that? Because you're just doing damage. If that thing hits my immune system's going to kick its ass. I got to see my immune system in my live blood cells today, and it looks like the healthiest fucking army that you could ever see. Plump red blood cells, my white cells attacking anything, white blood cells attacking shit, a lot of the stuff. And I got it done 6 weeks ago, or maybe it's been 2 months now. I got it done 2 months ago, and I had some stuff going on in my blood because of all the stress, all the adrenaline, getting ready for Unstoppable, doing the work that I was doing. We're heading into the Super Bowl rescue. There was all kinds of stuff. I wasn't eating great. All of those choices that I was making. And then when I met him, and I said, okay, and we got together, he said, here's the things that you can do, even under those stressful scenarios, to be able to improve your body's ability to process and create energy, to be able to fight against viruses. And this was before the virus was even coming out, to be able to protect yourself and optimize your body for performance, right? We are built for performance. We're not built for lethargy. We're not built for sitting inside of a house and watching negative shit all day long. We are built for performance. And so if you're working out in your house, if you are in a I can't leave the house scenario, I get it. Open the windows, open the doors, get some sunshine, stick your face in some sunshine, do some push-ups, do something that gets your heart beating and gets that blood moving in your system. Pull away from the negative stuff that's pouring into your brain. And find something else to watch, find comedies, find something else to pay attention to, right? That will optimize your perspective. Now, about the economy, and I'm just setting the plate. And again, this is going to be sort of a short show tonight. And, but I want to talk about the idea that, again, there's the human mind, your brain, your prefrontal cortex allows you to hold more than one concept in your brain. The only time you don't do that is when you have a belief and you have decided to dogmatically attach yourself to that belief. Okay. Now, two ideas are, what are the scenarios that may crop up, right? We're going to have a snapback where we're just going to put everybody back to work. And we're going to go right back to work, and it's going to take a while to creep back. But by the end of the year, this thing is really rocking, and we're doing well. There's the other side of the equation that you look at, and you go, the economy is going to take a hit. We might get up to 30% unemployment, and it's going to take years and years and years for us to recover. You can hold both of those concepts in your mind and prepare yourself. Okay. Here's the thing that I think about. If somebody says snap back, that means that there's going to be a rush for everybody to get back to work. We're going to take the stimulus money, put it in our pocket, like we really just took a month off and the government paid us for it. And we're going to go right back to our old spending habits. And plus on top of that, we got pent up demand. We're going to want to party with each other. We're going to go to Vegas. We're going to go to what concerts. We're going to want to jump on a plane and go to Hawaii. There's that pent up demand thing that says that there's not only going to come back to normal, but it's going to be better, right? Now, the long-term community, and in that, there's still opportunities, threats. You know, there's a lot of people that were saying there's problems in the economy before. When we had the greatest economy of the world, there's always doomsdayers, there's always naysayers, and there's always people that are looking for where shit is broken. If you want to be that person, I'm the wrong person to follow. I will go to battle with you. You will be pissed off at me. You will want to fight with me because I have a optimistic outcome or outlook on life. I believe that I control 90% of the shit that happens to me, and the 10% that I can't control, I don't worry about. And that pisses people off. It literally infuriates the people that are around me that I can smile through the situation, that I can reach out and tell you guys to be happy, to figure out how to love, have more sex, do push-ups, get your body in shape, do stuff that you can control, and that pisses people off. It pisses people off in a good economy where there was no virus. What do you think it's going to do now? Now everybody gets to go on and go, oh, I told you so. You should be careful, blah, 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 blah. Take stuff seriously. So here's how I want you to look at it. If you're a part of Misfit Nation, if you're part of somebody that I care about and love, and that's why I put this stuff out there. Trust me, I could disappear off the scene just like 99% of the influencers that are out there that are like, you know, they're struggling to pay their Lamborghini payment and the house that they're renting and all this other kind of shit. They're struggling to pay for it. And or they don't want to come down on the side like I have. I have taken a very solid stance in how we should approach what's happening right now. Okay. And I could be very, very wrong, but I believe that no matter what happens, if it comes back strong, if we get to the other side of this quickly, or if it's a long-term recovery, you're still going to be better off if you were looking through this through, I've been, again, by one of my friends, accused of having rose-colored glasses. They're not rose-colored. I'm just looking at a different future than you are. And that doesn't make me wrong, and it doesn't make you wrong. If you want to worry and spend your time in a shit pool, and you want to drive down your immune system, and you want to be worried about shit that you have absolutely no control over, if you want to do that, fine, right? If you want to do that, that's your choice. I'm not going to make you wrong for it. What I'm saying is that I believe that there's people out here, Misfit Nation and beyond, that want to look at things and imagine a better, a more positive future. I've lived my entire life that way. Okay. And except for when I was a kid, but when I learned that you are the captain of your own destiny, I took that shit seriously. And I said, no matter what the market is doing, no matter what's happening with a virus in the world, no matter what's happening in a wartime scenario, I can control my mind, my heart, my adrenals, and my ability to be able to succeed. And it's going to do damage to me if I believe that the world is set up against me and that there's some floating invisible enemy that's out there trying to kill me. And there is. It's called negativity, right? It's called doomsdayer. It's not like, again, preparation is a good thing. But somebody said it on one of the live streams that when the time to act is here, time for preparation is over. Okay, so whatever's going on right now, it's time for you to act. It's time for you to do an inventory of the things that you can control and take radical action on those things day to day, and you will see your immune system come back. I watched what happened in my blood to what it was and what it is now. He said, Jason, your blood looks like a healthy 25-year-old. That's what he said. And this guy's been looking at blood underneath of that same microscope for 40 years. And the most powerful, the smartest, the wealthiest, the most influential people on the face of the planet, has trusted this man for 40 years both on the in the theater of war and also in personal life. Okay. And so that is what you can do by taking the same actions. I didn't do a whole bunch of stuff except for reset my mindset. I started, again, I have to eat my own dog food sometimes about being positive because I overload myself. I believe, and I've been pushing myself to be some sort of a demigod for so long that every once in a while I figure out that the demi means that I'm part human, right? And that part human needs sleep, and it needs nutrition, and it needs a healthy mindset, and it needs all of these these balance things that we need to be able to take care of ourselves. And so at the end of the day, let's talk about the economy, okay? And then I'm gonna wrap this up. But whether it's a V-shaped recovery, because this is an artificial shutdown, right? It's not because the underlying economy was weak. It's an artificial shutdown. We basically just said, go home, stop working, and then we'll come back to work when we get onto the other side of this, right? So if it's a V-shape, then that's going to be a rapid recovery, and you better have your business skill sets in place, because more businesses die of indigestion than they do starvation, which means that they die because too many people come in and they can't deliver on the promise. They make a bunch of money all at once, and then they when business slows down or they start getting complaining customers or whatever it is, then the business tanks because of too much business improperly serviced, right? Now, that's going to be the case in a V-shaped recovery. Now, long-term recovery, let's say that we have 30% unemployment. Now, what that says to me, and the way that I look at it, is there's going to be 70% employment, okay? 70% employment. Now, if you're on the other side and you want to be a doomsdayer and say, oh my God, I'm so stressed out, I'm so worried now, and then you come and apply for a job from a job creator, or you want to go out and start your business, and you have to be a light for your customers to want to come and pay attention to you, and you're a doomsdayer and you're over here, you're going to be part of the 30% that's unemployed. Okay? If you maintain your mindset, if you're sharpening your skills right now while during this shutdown, this temporary shutdown, if you're sharpening your skills, if you're working on your mindset, if you're working on your body, if you're working on your relationships by picking up the phone and calling people, what are you doing? How are you doing? This kind of thing, then you're going to be part of the 70% that's employed. So whether it's a V shape and you're prepared for a V shape recovery, or it's going to be a long, drawn out, painful thing, don't you want to be more resourced to be able to take advantage of being part of the 70% that has a successful business or that it's employed than the 30% that are going to be out there blaming everybody and their fucking dog and wondering why nobody will employ them? Is because they've been a whining baby bullshit bitch for so many years that now that they're whiny baby bullshit, now they have to compete. And compete means have a great attitude, have a great skill set, deliver more. We've been wandering around in this environment with so low of unemployment rate that people got lazy and they got entitled, right? Guess what? That entitlement shit goes out the door. Now you're in competition. You're like most of the time in the history of mankind, you've been in competition to be able to get that meat or land that woman or land that man or do whatever it is. You've been in competition. The last few years have made people fat, lazy, and whining, bitching, moaning machines. And now you're going to have to compete for a job, right? If it's a slow recovery. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to compete if you want to have that customer. You're going to have to actually compete, which means you're going to have to improve your skill sets beyond the skill set of being a whiny baby bullshit baby, right? You're going to have to work for it. So what I'm saying is right now, in this moment, today, you start working for it. You start working for that job that you need to get. You start working for that healthy body that you want. You start working for an immune system that's going to serve you and support you. You start working towards whatever your objectives are by shutting out the rest of the world that wants to manipulate you with fear, and you start taking control of the fact that you want to, that you are the captain of your own destiny. My message has not changed, y'all. And this is what pisses people off, is my message has not changed from when the times were good to when they're challenging right now, and they won't be, whether it snaps back or whether it's a long-term recovery. What are you doing to resource yourself and your immune system, your ability to earn? You're gonna have to compete. So people that compete know that training and practice in dark is the thing that makes them successful under the lights of performance. What are you doing in the dark? What choices are you making? Are you feeding yourself the best that you possibly can? Are you supplementing yourself the best that you can? Are you getting good sleep? Are you reading something new? Are you learning up on a new skill set? If you've got a business that now that you're closed down, are you spending a whole bunch of time running around? Oh my God, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Are you retooling? Are you pivoting? I'm watching people pivot from things that they never did before to things that now are relevant because they're competing, right? And they're not competing for all of the, so they're not competing like a bunch of people that I'm watching online and I'm fighting with. And this is a fight worth me having, is stop fucking scaring people. If you're an influencer, you don't need to put statistics out there. Fucking stop it. The CDC is doing that, and every channel that's trying to manipulate you to things are rosy good or things are horribly bad, they're trying to manipulate you for their own purposes. They're fighting for your eyeballs. They are in competition, and when you're watching them, they're winning and you're losing. How about that? How about that? Okay? When people are competing for your eyeballs and they're not adding value to you, they're trying to manipulate you into their agenda, then they are winning because they're competing. They have bills to pay. They have families to feed. And while you're watching them, Fox News and or MSNBC, you're not feeding your own family. You're not putting yourself in a position to win. You're not influencing your own immune system to be able to fight against all of the battles, this one and the ones that are to come, right? And you're not optimizing your performance. You're not putting yourself in a position to win. Okay. And so if you choose to continue to follow down that path, look, trust me, if I jumped on the bandwagon of Doomsdayer and all of the stuff that's out there, I would be getting 1 million or 2 million or 3 million or 5 million hits on all my shit. Nobody likes the message that I give except for people who are ready to hear it. It's very, very niche. Okay. It's very, very niche, which is why you don't see my videos getting a trillion hits, is because I'm not feeding an agenda that somebody wants to hear. I'm not feeding the Democratic agenda. I'm not feeding the Republican agenda. What I'm telling you is that what you as an individual have to do, and the responsibility, there's the big word. When you tell anybody that they have to take responsibility for their own destiny, that there's not a magic pill or there's not a free check or there's not a free ride in this life, people don't like it unless they're ready to hear it, and unless they are people that of substance and integrity that are ready to take that on, right? That are ready to say, I don't want to hear any more sugar-coated bullshit. I don't want to hear any more shit-covered shit. What I want to hear is, what can I do in my story? What can I do with my life? That's the subject of tonight's show. And again, probably not going to get that many views. And the shares are up to you, whether you like the message or you don't. But I can tell you that the people that I'm spending time with right now are absolute experts, okay? They are not online sell you horseshit experts. These are people that are in control of multi-billions of dollars. They're the people that get hired to secure the Bill Gates of the world. They're the people that have worked on the President Reagans and the President Clintons and the President Bushes of the world medically. These are the people that are of substance that I'm getting my information from, that are telling me that the damage that's being done by fear and panic and scare tactics is far greater than any virus could possibly do. Okay. You're seeing that happen. People are putting on weight. The The suicide rate is rising. You know, there's all these things that are happening because people are not being taught that our greatest power is for us to control our own mind. Not with a pill, not with a drink, not with a joint, but our own decision and our own discipline. If your discipline is weak, you know it, but decision by decision by decision, it gets strengthened. Like when you go to the gym and you build a bicep, it's the same as building that muscle. And so that's my message, y'all. So the next 7 days, I'm going to be having some fights. One of the things that I've said about everybody that I've lined up conversations with is we'll battle it out, but at the end of it, there will be no ruined friendships, because I'm not willing to fight with somebody that I care and love about. If they want to believe that way, that's great. But if they're open to a conversation with me, I'm open. I'm open to all kinds of new information. I'm open to being wrong. And I am often wrong. Very rarely am I uncertain. Right? So at the end of the day, be joyful, be happy, love your family, take advantage and take control of those things that you have control over. You can change your blood. You can change your ability to be able to handle stress. You can change your ability to be able to affect and impact your bank account. You got to be calm. You got to be thinking. You have to be able to weigh two different things in your mind. You got to turn off the television set. You got to find those people that are lifting you up and feeding your soul right now, and spending time with them, whether it's digitally or in person or however the scenario looks. Get some sunshine, breathe deeply, right? That breathing in for 6 seconds, try that. Like when I learned that from Wim Hof, breathing in for a full 6 seconds was nearly impossible because we become shallow breathers. More oxygen, right? And less carbon dioxide in our system is better for us. Right? The reason why people have panic attacks is because we have a buildup of carbon dioxide in our bloodstream, and we think that we're suffocating. When all we have to do is breathe deeper, right? We breathe deeper and we blow out longer than we breathe in, right? In 6, out 8. In 4, out 6. It doesn't really matter. Just breathe in and breathe out longer than you breathe in. Panic attacks are impossible to have after that point. So I know, because they used to give me a little blue pill to help me not have a panic attack. And for 2 years after I figured out that breathing exercise, I carried that little blue pill around with me like a little safety blankie, right? And I finally threw it out because I hadn't had a panic attack in 2 years, because I learned how to control my own breathing. And that's one giant step that you can take, okay? One giant step. I hope this was of value to you. If it was, great, share it and bring other people into Misfit Nation. Let's gather together around this idea that no matter what comes against us, we are bigger than it, we are stronger than it, and we will survive, right? Even if this thing gets us, it's not going to get me without a smile on my face. If whatever it is, I'm going to go down fucking fighting and laughing my ass off. I'm going to bring my bro on, my little brother. And we got into a bar fight one time. And I don't know. I probably instigated it. It was probably my fault. But the entire bar was fighting against me and my brother and another big Samoan brother of ours that was there. And I got pushed out of the bar and landed, like there was a pile of people on me. And I was laughing my ass off, because under adversity, Jason Cisneros shows the fuck up. Okay. And somehow, some way, I got out of that pile and was able to survive and was able to knock more people out than was able to get to me. And that's how I view this life. That's how I view this war. That's how I view this battle. We are all together in this fight. And if it's me and you and a big Samoan, then we're going to win that fight. We're going to win the battle. And we're going to love each other, and we're going to laugh our asses off while we do it. Okay? Have an amazing day. Thank you for being here with me on a Friday night. And I will see you again tomorrow night, 7 p.m. MST, on the next edition of the Bald Avenger Show. Peace and love.